Dr. Zelthar's four eyes widened in horror as the medical scanner completed its analysis. The Vrathari physician had served aboard the Concordance Dawn for 12 cycles, treating species from across 74 star systems. He had seen plasma burns, radiation poisoning, and exotic parasites that would make a lesser being faint. But nothing, absolutely nothing, had prepared him for the biological nightmare standing casually before him. "Human Marcus," Zelthar's translator crackled with distress. "You must get to emergency stasis immediately. Your blood chemistry shows 47 distinct lethal toxins." Marcus Chen, the human engineer who had come in for a routine physical, glanced up from his datapad. Oh yeah, it's Tuesday." The translator must have malfunctioned. Zelthar ran a second scan, his manipulator appendages trembling. The results were identical. Ethanol, caffeine, capsaicin, theobromine, nicotine metabolites. The list scrolled on, each substance flagged in crimson as fatal to known biology. "Tuesday?" Zelthar's voice rose 3 octaves. "What does the planetary rotation cycle have to do with your impending death?" Marcus scratched his beard, seemingly unconcerned that his circulatory system resembled a chemical weapons depot. "Well, Doc, I had my morning coffee, that's the caffeine. Had some chocolate with breakfast, theobromine. Lunch was Thai food, extra spicy, capsaicin. Oh, and I went to Jax's birthday thing last night, so probably still some alcohol in my system." Each word made Zelthar's primary heart skip beats. "You intentionally ingested these toxins? For recreation? I mean, yeah?" Marcus shrugged. "Pretty standard Tuesday." Zelthar pulled up the human medical database, something he'd been avoiding out of professional pride. Surely the entry files were corrupted. No species could survive such a toxic load. But there it was in clinical detail. Humans regularly consumed dozens of lethal compounds for pleasure, stimulation, or simply because they enjoyed the flavor. "The capsaicin alone should have triggered complete neural collapse," Zelthar muttered, scrolling frantically. "Your pain receptors should be firing continuously until brain death occurs." "Oh, that's the fun part," Marcus grinned. "Makes my mouth tingle." "Fun?" Zelthar's secondary lungs began hyperventilating. "You experience cellular damage as entertainment?" "Well, when you put it that way," Marcus trailed off, then brightened. "Hey, you should try hot wings sometime. Changed my life." Zelthar made a note to schedule his own psychological evaluation. 3 months of isolation in deep space must be affecting his cognitive functions, because the human was describing voluntary poisoning as a life-changing experience. "And this, ethanol," Zelthar continued weakly. "You understand this is the industrial solvent. We use it to sterilize surgical equipment." "Yeah, it's also great for taking the edge off after a long shift." Marcus noticed the doctor's distress and tried to be helpful. "Look, I know it sounds weird, but humans are kind of built different. Our livers are basically toxin processing factories. We evolved eating fermented fruit and hunting prey through endurance running in the heat. We're persistence predators." "Persistence predators," Zelthar repeated numbly. He'd read about Earth's megafauna but assumed those entries were exaggerated. "Apparently not." "Right, we just keep going. Our ancestors would chase antelope for hours until they literally collapsed from exhaustion. We'd show up totally fine and have dinner." Marcus said this as if it were the most normal thing in the galaxy. Zelthar thought of his own species, the elegant Vrathari who would enter torpor if they missed their twice-daily rest cycle. He thought of the crystalline Gen, who required precisely calibrated nutrients or they'd shatter. He thought of every patient he'd ever treated, all of them fragile in ways they understood and accepted. And then there were humans. "The theobromine," Zelthar said, grasping for some anchor of reason. "This is a cardiac toxin derived from the same plant family as several banned bioweapons. Chocolate, yeah. We give it to each other as gifts. It's a sign of affection. You show affection by exchanging deadly toxins. Well, technically, it's deadly to dogs and a bunch of other animals, but we're fine." Marcus checked his chrono.
"Hey, Doc, I've got to get back to engineering."
"We're recalibrating the plasma manifolds this afternoon. Are we good here?" Zelthar looked at his scanner one more time. 47 lethal toxins. The human was asking if they were good. Zelthar's translator gave up trying to convey his emotional state. "Yes, you are. Within normal parameters. For humans." "Great." Marcus hopped off the medical platform. Thanks, Doc. Oh, and tomorrow's Wednesday. I'm trying that Andorian coffee the traders brought in. If I come in complaining about stomach pain, it's probably just because it's twice as strong as Earth coffee. Nothing to worry about. The human left, whistling a cheerful tune while Zelthar stood frozen in his medical bay. He pulled up the human species file again and began reading from the beginning. Persistence hunters. Endurance predators. Voluntary consumption of toxins for pleasure. Laughter in the face of danger. There was a note at the bottom of the file, added by the Galactic Medical Council. Warning. Human biology operates on principles that defy conventional xenomedicine. When in doubt, assume they will survive. They usually do. Zelthar added his own note. Patient reports it's Tuesday when confronted with lethal blood toxicity. Further research needed into human temporal perception and its relationship to poison tolerance. He had a feeling he'd be updating that file frequently. After all, tomorrow was Wednesday, and humans, he was learning, were full of surprises.